Adoption of multi-stakeholders participatory actions through council meetings like this. The FCTA acknowledges these contributions as essential in realizing the objectives of Executive Order 009 on open defecation, as well as guiding principles of economic recovery and growth plan and sustainable development goals. Thank you for your audience.
I think she deserves a better round of applause. Thank you very much. Integrated water resources management, a process, not a product. A round of applause for her, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think for us to have the tune for this particular council meeting, we're going to be taking a paper on managing water resources in crisis, the Nigerian experience, impact of climate change on integrated water resources management by Dr. Dare Adejowu, who is already here. Please welcome the president as he steps forward. Thank you. A round of applause for him. Thank you. Yeah. Permit me, there are conveniences downstairs, then some conveniences at this end, especially for the people at the front seat. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome the presenter, Dr. Darius. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And once again, you are welcome to the 27th annual regular meeting of the National Council on Water Resources. Let me first of all thank the organizer of the program for considering me fit to be a resource person at this particular forum. And I also want to thank the Federal Minister of Resources generally for inviting me. Thank you very much. Which is multidisciplinary in nature. And I hope I will be permitted, because I'm a climate change expert then, but when you are a climate change expert, you have to delve into so many areas. It is a multidisciplinary subject, and therefore, I will, as much as possible, deal with the situation. That's just my little CV there. Then the okay. Can I go on? Okay. I've outlined my presentation as shown above. The background, which is the Nigerians' vulnerability to the impact of climate change. We are looking at water as a resource, and we are also going to look at the mismanagement of water as a result. And therefore, we want to consider the interrelationships between water resources and other environmental resources. Thereafter, then we will bring in the concept of integrated water resource management and how climate change, then consider climate change and adaptation strategies, the impact of climate change on, integrated water resource management, And then what are the strategic plans to mitigate impact of climate change on water resources? Then at the end, I try to summarize all the presentation and concluded. Yes, before we can say a particular entity is going to be impacted, even when we are talking of human being as going to be impacted, we have to look at the vulnerability of that person to the impact. We have to look at it, because if you are not vulnerable to a particular instance, you are not likely to be impacted. But, you know, when we consider assessment report of the IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, African region is the most vulnerable to the impact of climate change. And when we're talking of African region, we are also included here. And unfortunately, we lack the ability to cope as a developing country. And Nigeria within the region is much more vulnerable, you know, by virtue of our geographical characteristic of location, which is, you know, which is approximately 923,000 square kilometers, the population of about 200 million, our relief, the climate, the vegetation, among others. If you look at all this, then we will see that climate change is potentially capable of damaging natural environment and deter economic growth in Nigeria. What are the implications of Nigeria's vulnerability? Resource depletion, food insecurity, lack of potable water, human migration and displacement. Then we will have loss of cultural practices and traditional ways of life. Then again, the resource conflict over water points and land resources, among others. Vanishing of coastlines is one of the vital, you know, impact of climate change. And changes in hydrological cycle due to climate change can lead to diverse impacts and risks. All the above manifestations of impact of climate change, coupled with other political and social issues, are capable of causing economic downturn in the, you know, in Nigeria. Next, please. One of the impacts of this is just one of the, you know, that you know, you can see flood. I'm just using one of the examples. The next slide, please. Yes, when we consider water as a resource, this is just to refresh our mind. We are all professional in water resource management. It is a single resource that has no substitute. We have to take cognizance of it. It is a limited resources and therefore can be very scarce. If you say, water is scarce, water is a limited resources. Some people might say, oh, what about the ocean? What room of the heart that is even covered by, you know, by the ocean? By ocean. That is, so there shouldn't be any lack of water anywhere. But that is not true. It is just the quality of water that we need that is very limited in resources. It has social, economic, as well as environmental values, and every organism, individual, and ecosystem on the planet depends on water for survival. It is a unique resource since it impacts all aspects of the planet. The ever-increasing global population has led to the demand outstripping supplies of these unique resources. Coupled with these are serious environmental and ecological issues, complicated policy and institutional issues, fragmented and current sectoral approaches. Financing of water resources is poor and options are quite, you know, limited, in which case, and consequently, poor water management and water shortages can lead to disease, malnutrition, economic growth, as well as social instability, conflict, and environmental disasters. Next, please. Yes, again, when you are considering water, you know, The ever-increasing population of the Earth surface has led to increase in demand by people for safe and reliable drinking water, demand for food production, in irrigation, wastewater reuse and flood management, in demand by nature for groundwater recharge, demand for industrial, manufacturing, cooling system, and liquid disposal. Also, water is